Good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Aloha, I should say. I'm working on my language. I am Kiana Sage. I am happy to see you on this beautiful Friday in October. Here we are, another day in the Being in Sync 366 video series. Every day coming here, we're trying to provide information, alignment to the natural laws. This is how energy operates. These are the natural laws. Regardless if you are aware of them or not, they are in operation. This week we have been covering the law of cycles, and the law of cycles is essentially that there is a circular motion in which we learn our lessons. There's an ebb and a flow to life, and if we are repeating cycles, that means we have lessons to. Hi, Michelle. That means we have lessons to learn. Oh, I forgot to get my pillow for the. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Hey, Nick, good to see you here. Hi, Eric. Happy Friday, everybody. Aloha. So if we have cycles that are repeating in our life, it could just be a pattern or it could be a soul lesson. Hey, Jer, good to see you. So let's talk about the mods. They're volunteering. They're helping me. I am new to YouTube, and Peter and Oliver and Matt have been so gracious to volunteer their time. And if people are being kind and gracious and compassionate in their comments, I would assume they would not get deleted for that. So I appreciate, Jer, your concern. And, we'll just see how it goes. I don't think any of the regulars have gotten deleted. Oh, I am very blessed, Eric. Thank you. May your blessings come back to you a millionfold. So let's talk about the mods real quick and about the chats. I love the chats, but I am also very aware that much of humanity is not conscious, and people find this content very challenging, oftentimes confusing, and I'm okay with that. What I would offer to you all, and I know people are starting to come in here now, is to stay connected, because sometimes when something isn't making sense and it makes you angry and frustrated and you just can't seem to put the pieces together, if you stay connected, the pieces will start to show themselves in a way that brings you back into alignment. So don't get discouraged with your confusion. See confusion as a good sign. Because we can't break out of patterns if we are doing the same thing. We need to find a new path, and sometimes that can be a little bit disorienting. When I am doing the peace program with my clients, after the first session, I say, okay, be prepared to be disoriented, because the thoughts that you used to think, they're going to be gone, and you're just going to be still, and that is part of peace, is the stillness. So let's not get in our minds about everything that we talk about here. We want to be in the experience, and the experience for many people outside of their mind can be quite uncomfortable. So I'm just here to offer you a little advice on confusion, and I think another word somebody used was overwhelm, and some people have messaged me saying they feel overwhelmed by some of these topics, like not being able to figure it out, or not really understanding completely the law of cycles or the law of correspondence. And the reason why it's really hard to understand is because it's an experience. It's not a logical process of which you've been conditioned to believe that things work in logical orders, you know? What is, Mick, you're saying, I think I was meant to bump into you on YouTube. Yes, I'm so glad that you're here because I really do believe that the people that resonate with this message, hey Doc, they will resonate and not even know why. And you don't even have to agree with everything that I say. In fact, it's okay to not agree. But it's so important that we be open and that we be mentally flexible. So we'll just wait a few more minutes before we get into the topic to today. And Usher is saying, you seem to be careful on here, and it's really easy to do with small channels like yourself. Now I'm off to disable children's comments on a live shorts. I seem to be nice, just be careful on here. You know, there's a lot of warnings from people, you know, and I do want to do a topic just on people in fear, because people warning me and danger and you shouldn't talk about these things. I think I think keep your fear to yourself. I think that your intentions are well-intentioned, and yet, you know, fear is a manipulation tool, and I don't align to manipulation at all. So here we go. What's Eric saying? I didn't get to comment on your live yesterday. Okay. That's okay, Eric. You know, you're here in spirit, and I feel you. Usher is saying, yeah, I can give you a taste of what they can expect if you want, but I don't want to. It's not pleasant. Your mods won't be able to do much. It's not fear, just facts. I believe you, Usher, that what you're saying. I've seen the parasitic nature of the chat, no doubt. And, you know, I will continue to do what I do, regardless of the parasitic nature of people who want to play in the underworld, if you will. And I'm not going down that way. I can assure you. There's so many accounts your mods couldn't ban them before I spam. I've seen horrible things. I've seen them, and I can't even tell you. I appreciate Usher. It is an interesting game in the underworld, Usher. I don't doubt your awareness and your knowledge in which you are speaking, and I really wonder. Your warning tells me that you've seen a lot, and I do believe. I do believe that the parasitic nature in which many people are playing in is just a reflection of where they live. So today we're talking about empowerment, and I'm going to go ahead and get into that topic. Yes, right, Mick, we're going to focus on, so the chats, we do the best we can with the mods, and, you know, just be kind and gentle with yourselves, because we're talking about empowerment today. And I really wasn't sure the direction to go with this topic. And I was drawn to a couple areas that I wasn't expecting. So my intention in this topic is to give you a unique perspective on empowerment as it relates directly to the natural laws, okay? And empowerment, I was drawn to looking at the word empowerment from Latin, a Latin perspective. Hi, Wendy, good to see you. Welcome. And the Latin, excuse my Latin, but it's licita. It's a Lacynthia is how it's pronounced. It's a noun and it's feminine. And essentially, hello Matt, good to see you. Essentially, empowerment in Latin is goddess license. And I thought, oh, how interesting, because, we talked about the law of gender last week, which is the unification, the unity of the masculine and feminine energies. And here today, the word is empowerment, which is the goddess license within you. Okay, so then I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And it is a noun. So there is some action with empowerment, right? So you're empowered within your connection to the divine. Okay, so when you are in connection to the divine, and I know a lot of people tend to get caught up in, well, what is the definition of divine? And you cannot define that which is limitless, right? You cannot define the undefinable. Like it's beyond imagination. So any words of expression of the divine will be uniquely your own, right? Because everybody experiences the divine through their own expression. So empowerment is essentially the strength through which your expression is within connection to the divine. So I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. Empowerment is the strength through your expression of the divine. So we all have that ability and access to connect with the divine. And then through the truth of the divine is through your expression. So it's going to come through you uniquely through your soul expression. So remember, we talked about we all have a unique soul signature that's unique to us, okay? And the truth of the divine is going to come through that expression of you. So then I was drawn to this question, and I came up with a couple questions because I thought maybe you all might. I love deep questions, and so who are you authentically in your power? Because empowerment would be your authentic expression, holding both the law of gender, masculine and feminine, but really in the expression, empowerment would be the expression of the goddess, the feminine power within you. That doesn't make the masculine weak. It's just a different expression, and we're constantly expressing these energies, which they're genderless, if you will, because they are principles. Okay, so I have 3 questions of empowerment. Oh, okay. Thanks, Matt. I can talk about that. Interesting correlation, Matt, that you're talking about the soul and sleep paralysis. So you believe there's a connection there? I'm just writing that down so I don't get this. So here are 3 questions, okay? And then I'm going to get to the chat. When you're thinking about yourself authentically and that knowing that that is a connection to your power, one of the questions I wrote down that would be helpful for you to identify is, where do you feel most free to express your authentic self? So for me, I express my authentic self 100% all the time. I don't shy away from being my authentic self. I am who I am, and I don't shy away from that. But I do know that the vast majority of people really struggle with this aspect of being their authentic self. And one of the reasons why I don't shy away from it is because I'm not invested in other people's perceptions of me. I know people talk, I know people have their opinions, I know people have their thoughts, and those are none of my business. So I really buy into, like, my thoughts are my business. Your thoughts are your business. Okay. And that helps me not invest in other people's thoughts about me unless they're providing feedback. Like, I really feel like people give feedback to me in multiple ways, and I can really take the feedback in, and I can decide if it resonates or not, if it's something I need to think about more or process, or if it's just somebody sharing their opinion that really doesn't have relevance for me in that moment. And I discern that. I do. So where do you feel like you can most freely express your authentic self? Is that a place? Is that a space? Is that a type of environment? Like, so identify those places and such. And then I would say the next question you could ask yourself is, with whom do you feel most free to express your authentic self? With whom? And I'm bringing this up because I had somebody share with me the other day that they felt like they were walking on eggshells around their significant other. That's not being your authentic self. That is like suppressing and oppressing yourself. So that would be how you get suppressed and oppressed. And you do that to yourself. The other person doesn't do that. And you might say, oh, well, they do this, which causes me to do that. And that's just the law of cause and effect. But you have the awareness of walking on eggshells. That means that you also have the opportunity to have conscious choice and go into it deeper. Why am I suppressing myself? Why do I feel like I'm on eggshells? Not what are they doing, but what is happening within me that I need to uncover. So with whom do I feel free to express my authentic self? And I would also say that, like, if you're in a partnership where that's not something that you can do freely, I would be curious as to why. Like, why? What are you waiting for? If you can't express with your partner, male, female, wife, girlfriend, husband, doesn't matter who it is, but why? Why are you unable to express your authentic self with them? Not because of what they do. What are you doing to yourself that's making you shut down? Because they're not making you shut down. That is going to be the victimizer thing. Well, she gets anxious, so I shut down. That is not your responsibility. You can have love, you can have compassion, and you can still be your authentic self. So that excuse is not a good one. So just find a really good reason. Hello? Okay, and the third question is, how can you expand your authentic self-expression? Because we know when we are expanding our authentic self, we are empowered. And that's what this topic is all about, right? It's all about empowerment. So how could we be more empowered is by understanding you are in alignment, right? You can be empowered by understanding that the more connection you have with the divine, creation, God, source energy, whatever language it feels most appropriate for you, because we know that there's many paths to alignment, and it's not about judgment here. It's just about knowing that when we are fully empowered, our strength comes from that connection. Okay? So I'm just curious, what questions do you have about empowerment? Do I believe in Jesus? I believe in Christ consciousness 1,000,000%, 100%. Yes. Okay, I'm going to look at the comments here and see what's going on in the chat. What do you think about that, Peter? Curious. Okay, thanks, Jer, for your feedback. We appreciate feedback here. And Matt, I'm sure, is only deleting those people who are out of line, who are not in kindness and love and compassion. I'm so glad you're here, Mick. Yeah, Usher, we're not gonna play a troll game. Okay. Fun Channel says I'm gentle with myself. Beautiful. Hello, Istanbul. Hi, Wendy again. Good to see you. Matt, thank you for being here, helping out. Lots of positive and respect from India. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Anybody have anything to say about empowerment? Trent, with great empowerment comes great responsibility. I don't know that you get more responsibility. I think that you feel more fearless personally. I mean, don't you think? Is that a lot of responsibility? I don't know. We're responsible co-creators all the time. Every soul is a goal. I'm going to try using those blue glasses on here and see if I can see the chat better. Sleep paralysis. Okay. Do I believe in God? 1,000,000%. But I don't feel like my beliefs need to be your beliefs. And I don't like when people try to push their beliefs on me. I like when we are able to look at our beliefs and and challenge our beliefs that do not serve us. That's what I like. Trent is saying the less you push, the more you gain a true moment of clarity. I think clarity is really a process for many people. So yesterday I was working with somebody and, very easily and very gently, we dismantled a false identity that they had made who they were. And, that's what beliefs do. They create a false view of our world. And then we feel wounded by the people that we're around. And it's just like, no, we're always co-creating. And oftentimes we're creating from these false beliefs. And we must be real with ourselves. We have to have honest assessments, which I talked about the other day. I am in California. Matt is saying, from what I've heard, you hit the nail on the head. Okay. All right. That is so awesome because my spirituality is based off of believing in Jesus and wanting and intimate his righteousness. Well, I would say righteousness is a judgment. And I would challenge that. I would challenge that belief that Jesus was righteous. Where did you learn that? Did you read that? Because a lot of our beliefs are based on what somebody else told us or what we learned as children. And really, in my experience in the natural laws, it's about an experience in having a deep relationship with creation. Can you explain to me what is the power of the fruit? Is that a metaphor? Because when I'm reading that, I'm thinking fruit is being used as a metaphor. Yes, I feel empowered mostly when I connect with God, our creator. Yeah, and I said exactly similar to that. Not exactly, but similar. You are empowered with your connection to the divine. And knowing that the feminine is the goddess energy, right? And that is empowerment. Religion and politics are no usually. Yeah, you know what? You can't separate religion and politics because they're dogmas. They are belief systems. So there is no separation when there's oneness, right? So they're just an expression of collective consciousness. And now, when you're talking about religion, but when you're talking about oneness and God and creation, that's not religion. So there's what you're talking about is two different things. So your experience with creation is your experience. That's not limited through a church or a temple or a book. It's an experience. Yes, you're saying, I mainly ask because you're talking about spirituality. I'm actually talking about empowerment. And I'm using the natural laws as a tool for people to be more empowered as to where things come from. And so to me, when you think of spirituality, you think of Jesus. And I will say for me personally, I think there are words like the word Jesus and the name Jesus and Yeshua and all the different ways in which the names can be used. Oftentimes, in my experience, religion has hijacked those terms, those names, and it carries a reaction. And my intention here is to not polarize people through their religious beliefs, because we all have our beliefs. All of us have beliefs, and they are part of our soul evolution, okay? So I'm not here to say that my belief is more superior than yours. We're all on a path, and we just happen to converge on this chat here on YouTube. And you know, I will just say from my own personal experience, I grew up Catholic. I was raised in the church, if you will, and I didn't have a positive experience. I didn't enjoy what I experienced while I was in there. Not from the Bible studies and all of that, but how I picked up on the energy. It felt very incongruent, and I really couldn't understand as a young little girl, like, all these people saying one thing and doing another. And that really was confusing, that they're supposed to be an authority, and yet I could read their energy in a particular way, and it really wasn't something I wanted to be around. And it was supposed to be a spiritual place, and it wasn't spiritual at all. It was very religious, which is different to me than spirituality. And the name Jesus, for me growing up, I felt like it was misused, and I will say abused. And I didn't like that. It wasn't until when I grew up and I had my own experiences, that I was able to really see that the incongruence was the energy. And I didn't understand that as a young girl. So, and there wasn't anybody that I knew I could speak to about this. So I just stopped going to church because it didn't fit for me. I didn't like it. And I didn't want to continue to do things I didn't like that felt incongruent. And so that's something that I experienced. So I'm just looking here. Okay, Peter and Matt are helping out here. Can someone isolate? How can someone isolate from its creator? Well, that's an interesting question, Greta, because Creation is at the root of all things, okay? But there are energies that are misdirected, that get lost, fall off course from the original creation blueprint, if you will. And are they still of creation? Yeah. So let's just say people that are expressing evil. Is that of creation? Yes. Is it misdirected from the natural laws? 100%. Does that have consequences? Yes. Is that our job to judge? No. Our job is to be aware and to be in alignment to the best of our abilities and to be in service to humanity to the best of our abilities in that now moment. That's what I think. So I wouldn't use the word isolate. I would say maybe misguided, but that's my perception. You might have something different. Mick is saying, when you're empowered, I feel empowered, and it empowers others around you. Natural. It's a natural, beautiful thing. Yes. And I was thinking that today too, Mick, so we're in sync again, because people that are owning their authentic self and their connection to the divine really, really can support others in aligning to their truth without judgment, and to be present for them in the process, because as we know, the process of alignment can be very challenging. Just because you are spiritual, just because you believe in God, doesn't mean you're immune from challenges, because our soul evolution here is to learn, grow, and expand. Oh, Mick is saying he means the fruits of spirit. So you are talking about a metaphor. Okay. Yeah. So can I explain the fruits of spirits? Can I explain what a blessing is? I mean, I think we all have blessings. It's just whether we're aware of them or not. Are we seeing the fruits of the blessings all around us? I would say a lot of people are missing it. In fact, today I had a beautiful tea ceremony, and it's one of my favorite things. As you guys know, I'm doing these silent tea ceremonies, and I'm just absolutely loving this type of meditation. And one of the members that was participating in the tea ceremony, when I asked them later, did they enjoy it? And they said they didn't really enjoy it. It was an experience, and they couldn't say that they enjoyed it. And I thought, oh, wow, that's so interesting, because they had such profound sharing, such profound wisdom in their experience that they expressed, and they expressed it so beautiful, and yet they didn't find enjoyment in what I considered to be a real blessing that was occurring. But again, our perceptions. Greta beautifully put, politics is nothing without religion, right? Because Greta understands we're in a spiritual war, right? We are in a war on consciousness, and religion is used often to manipulate people. Unfortunately, that's been, hey, Daniel from Sweden, welcome. Well, William, you are speaking to the language issue that I spoke to earlier. And I've been really mindful of language and how language has been manipulated. And I want to do a YouTube on it. I want to just have a chat on it, but I don't really think I have enough context for it yet, because it's so deep and challenging. And yet I wonder how it would work with this form, right? Because we are all from different countries. Hello, Factura. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad. Be so awesome. Your eyes are healed right now because of Jesus. Amen. From your words to my body. Amen. In fact, I have a command that I'm using. The thing is I can see the font. I can see the words. It's just not as clear with the color font. So I could see different colors easier than others. So that's why I'm using my glasses. Matt is saying, I'm a non-denominational. I believe in the Trinity. Technically, I'm a Christian. I was baptized in the Christian church. Yeah, I believe in the Trinity as well. The Catholic Church is a religion. Islam is a religion, but Jesus Christ is a relationship. I touched my experience with Jesus, Kiana. He is real. Christ consciousness is absolutely real. Lots of Christians, that's why I don't want to say anything about religion, because this is not about pontificating which religion is right or wrong or good or bad, but what I would like for us to be is not attached to the dogmas of religion, at least in this. Yes, Peter. Yeah. Great. Thank you for that, Peter. I'm going to actually pin that message because, I don't want this to be a religious channel. I don't want people to feel isolated or that they can't have different beliefs. We are all here for a different soul journey. We are all learning in our own time. The common point of all religions of the world is God is one. Let us be together in similarity. Well, and our uniqueness, right? So the natural laws are oneness, right? So they all lead to oneness. Nobody is excluded in accordance to the natural laws. We're all aspects of creation expressing, which is what empowerment is, right? Mick, oh, thank you, Mick, for your sweetness here. Eric. Recently, I met a bike accident. My right hand fractured. I'm so sorry, Daya. I used to be an avid rider of the bike as well. I still love the bike. It's nothing like being a little kid and reminding yourself of your childhood and freedom. And, I was so connected to my bike. I remember I used to dream about oneness, and I became one with my bike. And this is going back, 25 years ago. But on the day that I got my awareness about the bike ride, it's two drunk drivers on the same day were near misses on the same ride that I was doing for my training for a triathlon. And I thought, okay, I got the message. I'm going to go off my bike and I'm not going to ride these roads anymore. And I thought that was the message. And then I went on a bike trail that was chained on the line of the freeway, and within, I don't want to say, maybe a month, a car went off of the freeway at freeway speeds of like 55, 60 around here, and onto the trail and hit a biker. And so I said, okay, I got the message. I see I'm not supposed to ride my bike anymore. So I'm not saying, Daya, that is your message at all. I just can, I hear what you're saying, and your right hand is fractured and you're in pain. And I do understand from other friends that have hurt their hands and fractured, the pain is intense with the hands. So what I would say is ice and meditation. Meditation is what, being in the present moment is what will diminish the pain. So to the best of your ability, breathe into your heart and allow your heart to breathe into your hand and see how that goes with the pain. And I hope you heal soon. I did not paint that. That was purchased in Thailand. Doc is saying, Doc is saying there's only one God and he sends prophets and messengers. Simple. Beautiful, Doc. We have messengers everywhere. Greta is saying God sent messengers with books to guide the misguided. Why people not consult to that? Because the books were an interpretation. And misinterpretations happen by the interpreters all the time. And although you think the interpretation is pure because you believe the messenger, that would go back to believing. That's why I say it's good to feel into things and see, does this resonate? Does this feel right? Why, ma'am, please help. Why am I unable to study? Gosh, I don't know why you are unable to study, but I would take a stab at that. Maybe what you're studying is not misaligned and maybe not the right thing for you. So maybe your inability to study and focus is a sign that this is not the right path. Have you looked at that? Have you considered that? The soul is a software of the human body, hardware, primary heart, brain. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transformed. Beautiful. We keep traveling with new transformation, new software, new hardware, all. Well, not all of us are operating on upgrades, okay, Sajan? I want to say it proper. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but we're all not being upgraded, okay? This is where we're at right now with this war on consciousness. People have given away their abilities that come with them, which is, conscious choice. People are not using critical thinking. People are not in connection to their heart. People are allowing their minds to be infiltrated because they are not in connection with their spiritual aspects. They think they're just this physical form and they're supposed to buy things. I mean, that's what a lot of people are in. And that doesn't make them bad people. It just means that, we have a lot of people that are going to wake up and it's going to hurt. No empowerment is someone putting you on a pedestal. Well, that doesn't happen to me, so I could not tell you that. I love the 80s, Matt. Who's your favorite band from the 80s? I'll go ahead and tell you, my first concert was Tears for Fears. And I still, when I hear them and I'm riding my bike, it's like I'm transported. Greetings, Ukraine. Hello, hello. Okay, Matt, Kiana, I had a dream last night that I was on my balcony and saw a wave hitting the city and was coming for me. When the wave hit my house, I started to flood and bam, I woke up. Any thoughts? Yeah, well, first of all, water. If you look at the elements, right, the elementals, we have earth, air, water, fire, ether. So that's an elemental. So elementals come in our dreams. Usually water is about your emotions and processing emotions and floods. I'm not going to say that you're not having any kind of foretelling because, look, this is the time of the floods. We see what's happening, and I have known for many, many years that these times were coming. I didn't know what these times were going to be. I was just told, prepare to be in service to humanity. That's all I was told. And I've done the best I can to prepare, and I share in communion with others who are opening their hearts and willing to experience life differently because, look, we haven't seen the worst of it yet. And that's not a warning. That is a foretelling. Get correct in your heart. Connect to your heart because when we are processing emotions, we want to be, to the best of our ability, neutral. Which is very hard to be neutral and in your emotions at the same time, right? So when you are having an experience that is overwhelming, or you're witnessing things that are overwhelming, like a tsunami, like waves, like tragedies of people like we've witnessed in, Japan had tsunami, and we see it in other countries like Sri Lanka or whatever. Sorry. And when that happens, it's important to compassionately witness. Compassionately witness. And so, Matt, what I would say, some insight for your dream is potentially like, what are some of the emotions that you have been ignoring? What are the emotions that need to be acknowledged and seen and felt so they can transmute? That's what I would say is helpful with a dream. Dreams are open to interpretation. My grandmother was a dream interpreter, but I was so young I didn't ask enough questions. So I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. I'm a novice, and I enjoy it, but it's not what I do. It's not my forte. Am I a beautician? Not even close. Sin is a belief, RS. I don't have that belief, so that's yours for keepers. Tears for fears, all right. Eric, you like the 80s, all right. Got some 80s fans in here. Mick, one day, Kiana, you're going to have to chat about the owner, Lord Jesus, I appreciate the invitation, Mick. I really don't have an interest in that. I will tell you, and I think I did tell you, that I have been reading some Aramaic interpretations, which I have been enjoying and really liking. The frequency of the words, the tone, the intonation. But in general, I would probably decline you, Mick, on that conversation. But I appreciate the offer, and I appreciate the intention that you genuinely have behind that. So thank you. Is animal killing and eating their meat is good for humanity? That would be a judgment. Good and bad is a judgment. And I would also say, that my place is not to be in judgment about what other people are doing. I do my best to be a compassionate witness and not be in judgment of others. I certainly falter at times, but what people eat is not my place to judge. What humanity is doing is not my place to judge. Oh, Phil Collins. All right. And you love music, 40s. Fun. Love it. Stock market. You're asking a really legitimate question. Why is USA giving shelter to terrorists? Because we are in a spiritual warfare, okay? We're in a warfare on consciousness. And everybody is, nobody is excluded. Nobody is excluded. And that is what's happening here. It's not about giving shelter. It's about understanding that this is not what people think it is. It is a war on consciousness. And you must claim your energy. Old generation. You think that's an old generation? Come on now, Sanjan. I think music, is interesting. Mick. Hebrew is taking this year. I don't talk about religion here because I know your stance, but when you say certain things, you're so in tune, but don't grasp the revelation. I'm really wanting to share the Lord's Prayer so I grew up with the Lord's Prayer in Catholic, and I didn't resonate with the way that things were worded. But when I heard the Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer, I cried. So, I mean, language is a thing. I'm working through it. I'm in process, but I get what you're saying, Mick. I get what you're saying. And I'm going to go get my book. I'm just going to show you if anybody's interested. Okay, so hold on. Okay, with all sincere kindness, I don't want the Bible thumpers coming for me, okay? Like, if you believe in the Bible, that's totally your thing, but don't come for me. This is what I'm reading right now, and it's deep. It's deep. Now, is this for everybody? Only if it resonates with you. I don't read a lot of religious books. I don't read a lot of texts that don't resonate with me. But this has been a fascinating read, not only because it's written in a different language and interpreted beautifully. It was the prayer that got me, because I had grown up with the Lord's Prayer in Catholic school, and it did not hit me the way that this version from this interpretation hit me. And the nuances of how words are used and adjusted from the language matters. It matters. Okay? So, anyways, just saying, that's my pleasure read right now. And we're all on our own path. And isn't that beautiful that I don't have any opinions on Islam, Republic of Iran. I believe that we are all on a journey on this planet of a time that has never happened to humanity before. And, you know, compassionate witnessing is here for all people. I have. Have you read the I can't even say it, Bhagavad Gita, or something. I can't say it. My Indian is not very good, my language. I do have that book. I have read it. I haven't enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's usher your back. I'm not saying that it's just not something I'm reading right now. I have it. Well, you know, I practice Ayurvedic healthcare, and I've been practicing that for over 5 years now. I wish I could say I've been practicing my whole life, because I really feel like my entire path would be more grounded in truth and alignment to the elements had I known about this amazing healing practice called Ayurvedic care, which, by the way, is at the root of all medical care. But it's gotten lost in translation for some reason. Thank you about the painting. Love is life. I feel it's not a hit for me. Okay. Lately, I feel like I'm lacking in mindfulness, which may be costing me my relationships. Could you help me? Also, do you believe in the Matrix, and are we in simulations? First of all, well, I think that's a really good awareness, Cody, about your mindfulness. And the fact that you have the awareness that you're lacking mindfulness might mean that you're doing some things that are distracting you. So I would look at, like, what is distracting me the most? And look at, is that important? Or does that need to be eliminated? Maybe the distractions just need to be brought to your awareness so you can eliminate them. So that would be one thing. The other thing is that mindfulness is a practice for every day. So if you're struggling with something in particular, for me, I like to have focused areas, and I focus on growing in one aspect, and then I kind of try to master that aspect, and then I go, in a couple weeks or a couple months, I move on to something else. So that might be a way to strengthen your relationship with mindfulness, is to get more focused with it, not to be in limit. Because sometimes when we try to be mindful of everything, we're mindful of nothing, right? And the other thing I would just say is, as far as costing your relationships, I think relationships have an ebb and a flow, and it's important to be aware of the ebb and the flow. And if you think that some of your relationships are ebbing, meaning they're not moving in the direction that you want to, maybe it's worthy of having an open conversation. Okay, so then you're saying also, do you believe in matrix? I think there's many matrices. Correct. And do I believe we're simulations? I believe we live in a holographic universe. Yes. And do I believe in simulations? I think that there is an agenda of transhumanism, and that is all about simulations. So I'm not saying that. I think that's going to be a faction of humanity that doesn't wake up to their connection. That's a problem. That will be a problem for sure. Love is life. I like your name. I love you. Oh, thank you. I had tears when I heard it in Hebrew. I'm taking Hebrew classes for the first year, and it's hard to translate from Hebrew to Greek to English. Correct. Yes, Mick, it feels different with a different language, with a different translation, especially with a truly gifted translator. But it's not something I normally read, to be honest. My Persian is good. Thank you for the painting. Matt, I don't know that he's watching too many. I think his question was quite legitimate, because we do live in a matrix. We live in multiple matrices. Our soul is a matrix. Our beliefs are matrix. When you understand how beliefs actually work, and you see that there are systems and that there are organizations, just like our companies have these systems or an organization. So it is matrix, and they overlap and they get entangled. All right, y'all, we're almost at an hour here. Hey, Darkness, good to see you. This topic on the matrix subject reminds me of the holographic disclosure. Not sure if you heard, but it's based on the electric universe theory. Okay. I have not seen what you're talking about, the holographic disclosure. But there's a lot of new truths coming out. So glad, Eric, you are seeing the blessings. Okay, y'all. Well, it's been about an hour here. The topic today was about empowerment, and I gave a handful of questions that you can use to do your own discovery about empowerment and how can you expand in your authentic self and your connection. And, as always, every day, take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. You don't have to believe everything I say. You don't have to believe anything I say. I appreciate a good discussion. I appreciate you all being here and participating and being kind in the chat. Just want to take a moment to thank Peter and Matt for being here and supporting this channel and helping me do this thing that I've been called to do, which is to talk about the natural laws every day. And next week we'll talk about a different law. This law was all about the law of cycles. Thank you so much. I'll be here again tomorrow. If you are new to the channel, please put your notifications on because I come on between 12 and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not sure about the topic for tomorrow. Anybody wanna? I know Matt wants to talk about sleep paralysis. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at that topic, but I'd certainly be interested to intuiting about that and see I have an idea about what it is, but I don't work with a lot of clients that have that. And so I don't know that I feel super comfortable talking about that, but I do know my perspective on sleep paralysis is probably different than most. You put notifications on by going to your YouTube settings. Thank you, Mick, for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Chair, so glad you're still here. Love of life on the Matrix topic tomorrow. The Matrix topic is it's too broad. Can you post a poll for topics? What topics do I put in the poll? I put one on fear. What poll? What's in the poll? Tell me, you guys. World Heritage. Okay. All right, y'all. I will I will feel into the topic tomorrow and see what it is. Peter, I still have a lot. And there's so many different aspects of trauma. I just don't want to be such a bummer about talking about trauma all the time. I know it's an interesting topic for so many people, but, trauma really is about transforming. Anyhow, thank you so much for your time. Okay, I'm going to talk about fear. All right, so there's already a poll on fear. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Trauma is also super depressing. Can't be. Fear in believing, yeah. Okay. Well, fear is a massive topic too. But we'll go there. All right, so tomorrow it is. All right, y'all, have a great day. Happy Friday or whatever day it is where you're at. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for sharing your spirit with the world. Take care. Bye.